Hello, welcome to the next chapter. So in this one, I'm going to teach you all about images, all the different things you can do. We're going to be learning about how to use shapes. And finally, we're going to be doing smart art, which is a particular favorite of mine. So I'm going to start with pictures. What I'm going to teach you guys about pictures. I'm going to start with the basics, how to resize, cropping images, how to rotate them. We're going to follow that with learning about shapes. We're going to do all the basic shapes like text boxes, arrows. I'm going to show you how to change a color, border layouts, line thicknesses, all that kind of stuff. Then we're going to look at object alignment. So it's to help you arrange your images on the screen. Next, we'll talk about image layering, image grouping, so that you can handle heaps of images at once. Next, we'll be doing picture styling, which is more focused on the artistic side of things. So that's picture styling and picture effects. And lastly, we'll be doing smart art, which looks something like this, which are all the inbuilt graphics that you can use for your presentations. And these things are just so easy to use. So we're going to dedicate a little part of this chapter just to smart art. All right, so get ready and let's do this. See you guys inside. So we are going to begin the first section, and that has got to do with resizing, cropping, and rotating your image. So let's begin. Let us first start with a brand new sheet, like so, blank, okay? And we're going to import that image of Luna again as our example. So I'm going to go look for that. PowerPoint Pro Beginners. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, so that's the first step. So we're going to resize, and you guys would have learned this in the first chapter, so it's simply just grabbing these handles, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to make it a little bit smaller in here. Okay, so that's resizing. So the next thing we're going to learn is what's called cropping. Cropping involves trimming your image down to get rid of the edges that you may not need. So for example, let's say I don't want to show this bottom part here, right? You can crop it to remove it. So it's really easy. We go to the Format menu tab up here, and we click on Crop. So we'll go ahead and do that. Click on Crop. And what's going to happen is the handles on the edges are now going to show these little black lines on the corner and on the sides. Each time you grab one of these black handles, you can actually crop it inwards to the image. So if I grab that and I bring it in, notice how it's gray. If I drop it there, and then I click outside of the image, it is now cropped or removed that part of the image. If you made a mistake and you want to go backwards, you can either press undo, or you can go back to the image, click that crop button again, and then extend it. So PowerPoint actually stores what you've cropped, but doesn't show it to you. So I can bring that back there, like so. And that's how you use cropping. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is resize up, rotating. There's two ways to do this. The first is select your image, and you're going to see this circular directed arrow up here. And if you grab that handle, you can rotate it manually. Now, if you want something very specific, you want it exactly at 45 degrees, here's how you do it. You go to the Format menu tab, which is available when you click it. You go to Arrange, and you want to click on Rotate. And there's several options in here. You can either rotate it 90 degrees, rotate it left 90. You can actually flip it vertically or flip it horizontally, right? And if you want a very specific angle, you click on More Rotation Options, like so, and you're going to see this one here right in the middle, rotation, and then the angle at which you want to rotate. So it's probably best to either type it in or slowly adjust this until you have it exactly how you want it. Like so. So let's say I want 20 degrees, I can do it like that. And if I want it 0, I just go back to 0 and press Enter. And that's it. So that's how you resize, crop, and rotate, and it is the kind of warming you up for more to come. So in this one, I'm going to show you how to introduce a text box, how to format the text box, and then what's called shape styling, which is an easy way to do the formatting, okay? So let's go ahead and just get rid of this for a second. All right, now to insert a text box, very easy. We go to the Insert menu tab, and you're going to see Shapes underneath this illustration section. And if we click this little arrow here, it's going to show us all the different types of shapes we can include. Now, text box is, can't have my drawing tool when I got that out. So let's do that again. So if you go here to Basic Shapes, it's the very first one that you see. So if I click on that, my cursor is now going to change to this upside down kind of cross or something like that. And from here, you can draw the size of the text box that you want by simply clicking and dragging. Once you do that, you will have text, your text cursor in there, and you can type anything in there. So let's say I type in Luna, and I click anywhere outside to finish it off. Now, if I want to go in and edit it again, as I hover over it, my cursor will change shape. So I simply have to click in that word. From there, I can make adjustments again. Okay, if I ever want to add. Now, I can press enter and accept. Nope, I'm thinking of something else. So to delete this, we just go like that. All right, so that's how to introduce the text box. Now, this text box isn't very attractive, so we're going to give it a bit of style. So here's how you do it. If you remember in section 1, you'll notice that we did formatting for standard text. It is exactly the same for here. So what you want to do is select either the text inside or you want to select the box. It's best when you're starting off and you're new to select the text so you can see that it's been highlighted. We want to go to the Home menu tab, and essentially anything in this area here you can use to format your text. So let's go ahead and do that. I want it to be center justified. Using this one, I want the font to be a little bit larger, so I'm going to use the text size. We're going to make it 40 is good. Put it there. And I want to change the text color, so I'm going to go in here, and let's make it a nice green. So that's one way to format your text. There is a second way to format it, which is much faster and a little bit more consistent if you keep using the same one. So you want to highlight the box itself. So the way to do that is if you're inside, you notice that the line is dotted. If you click on the border, it will change to a solid line. So now that we have that activated, we want to go into the Format menu tab, which only appears if it's been selected, and you want to go to this section here called Shape Styles. And in here, you have heaps of different options for the font. Now, I'm going to move this to the side just so you can see it when I open it up. If I click this one, it scrolls through all the different options, but we want to see all of them. So we click this triangle down here, and that's going to show all the different options. I'm actually going to move this to the side a bit more, just so you can see what happens when I change it. So if you hover, you'll be able to see all the different types that we can choose from, as you can see. And the one we're going to choose is... what am I in the mood for? Maybe... I'm in the mood for blue. Here we go, a light blue. Maybe a dark blue, actually. We're going to do that. We're going to change the text. Not that one. Text to white. So we go white. There we go. So we can see that a little bit clearer. And we can just move that over. And that's essentially the basics of how you can actually import a text box and do some formatting. Okay, in the next one, I'm going to show you how to do arrows and shapes as well. I thought before I get into arrows, I forgot to show you how to do borders and fills. So let me show you what that means. Right now, we have a fill of blue and an outline of, I believe, very light blue. So if I wanted to change the outline of that color, there are two ways to do it. You can either do it from the Home menu tab in this section right here on the right, where you have Shape Fill and Shape Outline, but it is also available in the Format menu tab. And I kind of want to work from here just so you know that whenever a menu tab appears like this, these objects that are available here refer to what you can do to this image right here. Okay, so if we go to this Format menu tab, you're going to see two icons, the Shape Fill and Shape Outline. So let's go ahead and play with those. Shape Fill, if I move this to the right, like so, Shape Fill changes the color inside. So let's do this one. Shape Outline changes the border color. So I can select black, I can select red, and so on, right? And another thing with outline, you can also change how thick it is. So if I go change outline, I can go to weight and change how thick that line. I can make it super thick or super thin. It's really up to you. So let's do 3-point. And lastly, you can change the pattern of that line, also known as dashes. So you can have it as a straight line. You can have a little dots like this. You can have dash. And you can have center line. There's lots of options you can choose from. There we go. And I usually use this dash line if I'm referring to something on an image, but if it's a text box, I like to use the solid line. Okay, and that is how you use fill outline as well as the different options for a box outline. So in this lecture video, we're going to do everything about arrows. I'm going to show you how to create them, how to select the direction they're going, the color, the pattern, thickness, and how to lock them onto a text box. So very, very easy. Let's first get into our Insert menu tab. I'm going to go back to Shapes, and in there's a selection that you can, a range of lines or arrows to choose from. We're going to use this second one here, which is the basic arrow. So we go ahead and click that. And we want to start off with the tail of the arrow, finishing with the point. So if I got looted here, I'm going to go click where I want the arrow to start, hold, drag, and then point it to wherever I want it to go. Now, like any image, you can change the location by simply clicking on the handle, like so. So very, very easy. So we do that. Now, what you'll notice is we can barely see it. So we need to be able to style this and change it so we can see it a bit better. And that's very easy. So we click the arrow first, and what you're going to notice is the Format menu tab is going to pop up. I'm going to go to Shape Styles, and the Shape Outline is the one we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and click that. From here, we can choose the color. So let's choose red, like so. We'll go back, and I also want to change the thickness, which is known as the weight. So I want to change to 3 point, like so. And what you'll notice is as I hover, it changes the size. Go ahead, 3 point. I also want to be able to change the pattern, also known as dashes. So you can have a solid line, you have dotted lines, you've got dash lines, and so on. We're going to choose the second one, like so, the round dot. And finally, we need to also be able to control where this arrow is. And I'll show you why. If you happen to make this arrow the first time, and you accidentally, for some reason, did it this way, right? And you want to be able to reverse that. It's very, very simple. We go back to that shape outline, and we go to arrows. Now, along with being able to switch up, we can also change the arrow head. So we can go from a triangle or to a V, and it's simply just clicking one of these, and then it makes it permanent. So we want to switch up. We have this one activated. I want to go to this one. So we'll go ahead and click that. And that's it. That's as simple as it is. Now, an additional thing I want to show you is what's called, well, I don't know actually what it's called, but I'm going to call it locking to text box. What that means is if you grab the tail or either side of an arrow and you hover over any other picture object, right? We're going to notice these 4 dots that appear. If I do it here, you'll just see it. It's very faint, but I'm zoomed in so you can see it. And if you take the tail and link it there, what happens is it creates a connection, meaning if I move this text box over here, it moves together. Now, I believe you can do it with the other end as well, like so, by hover and connect it to there. So if I move this, it constantly stays connected. This is extremely helpful because imagine you had 10 of these, right? And this object you needed to move. If you move this, it means all the arrows will stay connected. So it's extremely useful for very complicated arrangements. So I believe you now have the idea of how objects, especially shapes, work. They all pretty much work the same way. There are a few additional things you can do, but they are relatively minor. So how you deal with a square or a circle or a triangle, they're all pretty similar how they work. So I'm going to go through a few examples. Let's go start a new sheet, actually. So if we go blank, let's go here. So if you do an arrow or a line, it's very simple. There's not much to it. It's only a one-dimensional. Yes, one-dimensional object, so there's not much you can really do with it. But if we do something that's a little bit more complicated, actually, I'll go to the drawing tool. So again, we go to Insert, my drawing tool, Insert menu tab, Shapes, we go in here. Now let's choose something with like a few more edges or a few more sides, a little bit more of a complicated shape. So let's try this block arrow right here. All right. There you go. Now, what you'll notice is, along with the standard handles it also has these 2 yellow handles. And every time you see this, it means you can change the ratio within that object. So if I click and drag this yellow one here, it actually changes that particular dimension or facet of that shape. So if I do that, and I can do it to this one as well, right? And there's heaps of objects that do this, but they're all pretty much the same. So if I do use an arithmetic one, so let's use the division symbol, like so, I can use these triangles. And if you're not sure exactly what they do, just play with them. because immediately you'll see what they do. And this one here. There you go. So the premise is all the same. Let's go back to shapes. And one more, I want to show you the banner one. So here the banner is a little bit more complicated. The shape, obviously, but again, the principle is exactly the same. Right? There you go. And that's essentially what additional shapes. That's what these yellow handles do. And one last one I'm going to do, which I have on my list, is the callouts. Okay, so here at the very bottom, you'll have a call-out. And a call-out is simply a box with a little tail on it, whatever you want to call it, just so you can highlight a particular area of your page or your drawing. So I'll show you another example. This one you've probably seen heaps of places. So a cloud, and then you have this little tail. Now, in this case, the tail controls how far this little thing goes. I don't know what to call this part, right? But again, the principle is exactly the same. So play around with all these different shapes, right? There's heaps to choose from, and have fun. The next thing we're going to look at is, whoops, I pressed something with my stomach because my keyboard is on my lap. The next thing I'm going to show you is what's called alignment. Now, alignment, I actually only discovered maybe in the last year, and I actually didn't even know about it, which is a huge surprise. But ever since I learned it, it's just been a dream. Okay, here's how it works. We have text boxes here that I've added, and what you'll notice is the left side of this one does not align with the left side here. In addition, the top of this one does not align with the top one here. What I want it to look like is, if I actually open the other slide I've got, I want the top to align all the way across there, right? And I want it to do for the left and the right side as well. What you can do is, you can do it manually like this until they completely align, or you could do it like this. If you click on this object and this object, now here's how you do it. You hold Control on your keyboard while you click it, like so, and you'll select two objects. That's one way to do multi-select. The other way, if I click outside of that, is to go to the Home menu tab, go all the way to the right where Editing is, and you want to click Select, all right? And I'm actually going to do a few more videos on this particular part as well. And you want to click Select Objects. And you do a square around the objects you're going to do a multi-select. So I want to select those two things. Now, what you'll notice is the red arrows are not completely engulfed, if that's the best word, by the square I've created, meaning they will not be selected. So let me show you that. As you can see, the arrows have not been selected. If I did it like this, it will select that top arrow, right? Because it's in the square. So it's a neat little function. So we'll go ahead and select those two, because those are the two I want to align. Then I want to go to the Format menu tab. I want to go to Arrange, and I want to click on Align. There's a number of features in here. I want to go open that up. You can align left, center, or right, meaning they align on the left side. They're aligned completely in the middle. This is useful for when the text box length horizontally are not the same. Align right is opposite to align left. Align top means that all aligned on that top line. Align middle is vertically. And align bottom is on the bottom of the text box. The one we're interested in is align left. So go ahead and do that. And what you'll see now is these two have completely aligned. And that's exactly what we want. So let's go do that again for the two on the right. So let's go Home. Let's click on Select Objects. Wait there a second just so you can see. Select Objects. I'm going to select these two, like so. Okay? We go to Format menu tab. I'm going to repeat it just so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Arrange, Align, and this time we're going to align right, like so. Now, if you happen to press the wrong one, let's say I press Align Top, it's going to do that, right, because it's going to align the top line. You can just simply undo that. It's no problem at all. And we go Align Right, like so. Now, those two are aligned. Now, let's say I wanted to do this one and this one. Luna and Blanky, that's the name of her blanket, which she stole from my other dog. I want to align the top of those two, so I can use that mouse object select button, or I can use the Control on my keyboard. So I'm going to do that. Click on the first one, hold Control, click on the second one. Okay? We go Format, Align Top this time. There we go. We do that for the other one. So click that one, Control, click this one. We go align, this time align bottom. There we go. So now if I actually draw an imaginary square, right, these will all be completely aligned. There we go. And that's exactly what we want. So I don't actually want to keep that, just want to show it. And that is how you multi-object align or object align. I'm going to teach you an additional thing about alignment, which is very helpful when you have multiple objects and you want to align them. You want to distribute their alignment equally. So let me show you what I mean by that. As you can see from here, the tops of each of these is completely different, right? So that's the first thing we're going to fix. And also the gap in between them is also inconsistent. So that's small, that's large, and that's, I think, slightly larger. I want to make the gap between them equal. So you can do that both horizontally, your my drawing tool, you can both do it horizontally going this way, or you can do it vertically here. So again, this gap here is all different. I want them to be consistent. Okay, here's how you do it. We're going to select all the objects, so select Objects function. There we go. We're going to select all of the top ones, and the first thing we're going to do is align top. So let's go to, let me click Format first. We're going to go to the Format menu tab. We're going to go to that alignment button we used. Click on that. We're going to go Align Top. Now, without clicking on anything else, we want to do a second alignment. Now, if you click somewhere else, you have to highlight all the text boxes again. So you don't want to do that. We want to click on Alignment, and we want to go to Distribute horizontally. There we go. So I'm going to show you the difference. So that was before. This is after. Before, after. And if you look at the spacing now between them, it's completely equal. So this is a lot more pleasant to the eye, especially when someone sees a bunch of labels. It's just easier to process because it's a lot more organized. We can do that vertically as well. So let's select these four using that same object. So we'll select Objects. We highlight all four, like so. We're going to go to that Format menu tab. Up here, we're going to go to the Align button again, but instead of horizontal, we want to do vertical. Before that, let's align it to the right. There we go. And then align it vertically. There we go. Now, as you can see, they're all spaced out beautifully. And that is distributed alignment. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to learn about image layering. Now, what that means is we're going to control which image is in front of which other image. Okay? So the image or object can be a text box or an arrow. So what I've done in this example, as you can see, I've set the text to be behind the image. So Luna has been cut off, right? But it's not because the text box is this long. It's actually still, if I can draw a dotted line like that, well, that's the first time I've done that. It's actually hidden behind the image. So I want to bring this in front of my Luna picture, okay? This is super easy to do. We click on the image first, right? We want to go to the Format menu tab, and we have these two icons right here, Bring Forward or Send Backward. Now, these are also named Bring to Front or Send to Back, I believe. So it's the same thing, and we can click on Bring Forward. So we go Bring Forward, like so. Click that again. Oops, sorry, Bring to Front it is. My bad. Bring to Front. Now, we can also do it for arrows. We'll go ahead and click this one. We go Bring to Front. There we go. And also, we can send things to the back. So let's say I had heaps of things that were behind this Luna picture. Instead of bringing each individual thing to the front, I can just send this one all the way to the back. So here's how you do it. Again, we go to the Format menu tab. We'll go into these ones right here. And instead of Bring Forward, we're going to go Send Backward. And we're going to go Send to Back. There we go. As you can see, everything is now in front of it. So even if I move this text box, it's going to be in front of the image, like so. Okay? So that is Bring Forward and Bring Back. And before I go, I will also show you that instead of going to the Format menu tab, you can also right-click on an object. And the options are here as well. Bring to, see, it's called Bring to Front in the right-click option. So Bring to Forward and Send to Back, and they're the same thing. I will be teaching you how to group images. What does that mean? Group images means to combine a number of images into a single image. But it doesn't make it permanent. It's just a control method. So let me show you what I mean. Excuse me, if these are all ungrouped at the moment, right? If I move Luna or if I move this picture, they're the only things that are going to move. Everything else is going to stay where they are. So let me show you, right? That's going to stay together. That's by itself. The image is by itself. Like nothing is connected. What I want is if I move this picture, I want everything else to move along with it. Okay? So the way we do that is what's called grouping. First thing we're going to do is we're going to select the objects we want to group together. So let's begin with the text. I want to group the text together first, and then I want to group the picture and the arrows with that. And the reason I want to do that is so that if I need to make changes to the text, I can do that separately. So let me show you. It's really just about grouping and subgrouping and so on. So let's select that first. Let's go to the Home menu tab. Select Objects. We're going to highlight these top ones, like so. And we're going to go Grouped. So we're going to go to the Format menu tab. Like always, we're going to go to Arrange, and we're going to go to Group. So we'll go ahead and click that, like so. We're just going to click Group. There we go. Now what you'll notice is the border is now one solid border for all the objects inside. But if I select any object inside there, it's going to treat it as a single object. So let me show you. I've selected the, I'll start outside first. If I select this, it's going to select the outside grouping. If I click again, it's going to select the one inside. Meaning, if I select the group first, like so, any formatting I apply will apply to the entire group. Okay, so if I change the text to red, it's going to change all the text together. So again, this is like a productivity thing. So if you need to make adjustments, because they're in a group, it's much easier to control and modify. So I'm going to leave that as is. Okay, now the next thing I'll do is I want to group the arrows together. So I can use the control method, like so. And again, if I make adjustments to the arrows, it's going to apply to all of them. Okay, so you can go to the Format menu tab, show you again, and you can go Group. The other method is if you right-click on one of the arrows you've selected, like so. Group is also available here, so you can click Group, and that will group those together. So now I have 3 items. I got the labels, the arrows, and the image. Okay, so let me show you what happens if I adjust the arrows. They're all grouped now. If I go to the Format menu tab and change the color, it will change all their colors. Now, you can imagine if you had 30 or 40 arrows, having them all grouped makes it much easier to edit as one rather than individually. Okay? Now, the next thing is I want to group all of them together, because if I move this one, it's only going to move the things within the same group. Okay? So I click on that. I want to select this next group by pressing Control on the keyboard. Or you can use the Object Select cursor and then the image at the end. Okay? So now I have all these objects. We're going to go right-click and group, like so. And now it's going to be one solid line, as you can see. So here's the difference. If I move this object, it's going to move them as one single object. To ungroup them is the same thing, right? I select the object. Let's go use this one this time. Format menu tab, Group, and instead of clicking Group, we're going to choose Ungroup. And it's going to ungroup a single level. Ungroup. So now we have those levels again. We still have those individual groups. And if I want to ungroup again, I click Ungroup, and that'll give me the individual images again. Okay? We are going to learn about picture styling today. Here is how it goes. If I have an object right here, and I go to the Format menu tab, we have these picture styles here. And these are preset graphics that you can choose from that Microsoft have provided. Let's go through a few of them. If you hover, you can see all the different ones. I tend to use this one a lot, right, because it's just simple. So what you'll notice is there's different frames or borders, and if you're familiar with Instagram or any picture editing app on your phone, they have a lot of these similar features. You got rounded edges, you got all these ones. There are heaps to choose from, and it's a nice way of just giving a little bit of character to your image. And it's very simple because it's just a single click. Okay, so let's go ahead and just pick one. I'm going to pick this one right here, so it looks like a photograph. And that is essentially picture styling. We can also do some additional stuff like picture borders, similar to what we did for text boxes. Here's how you do it. Let's go to the Format menu tab. We're going to go to Picture Border, like so, and we can just pick any color. Like so, I'm feeling blue today, and that's how you do it. Now, again, you can also change the weight, right? Weight here, and you can change the patterns and so on, depending on which one you've chosen, okay? So, picture styling, very, very simple. This is just a short video to show you that option. I'll go through just a few more, just to let you see exactly what you can do. And you can actually customize this, which I will show you next video. Okay? So very, very simple. And then just click on the one. So in this one, I'm going to teach you about corrections. So that includes sharpening your image and adjusting the brightness. We're going to look at color setting and finally artistic effects. So first you want to begin by selecting your image, like so. Then you want to go to the Format menu tab and you want to go to the Adjust section here. We're going to start with corrections first, followed by color and then artistic effects, like I said before. So go corrections. In here, you're going to see two options. I'll come out my drawing tool and that open at the same time. You're going to see two options. You're going to see sharpen and soften, and then brightness and contrast. So sharpen and soften is good for if your image is a little bit blurry and you just want to sharpen that up. So if you just hover over it, you'll see the effect on the image, okay? And for brightness, if you go, this center one is where is the default with no brightness and contrast adjusted. If you go to the right, it increases brightness. If you go to the left, it decreases brightness. And then if you go up or down, it adjusts contrast. So going upwards decreases contrast, and going downwards increases contrast. So that's the first one. Very simple. Then I actually want to keep that maybe here. Make a nice and bright. Next, we want to go to the color icon right here. We'll click that, and we should have three options. The first is color saturation, which again, if you hover over the image, you can adjust it. The next is color tone, which what's always funny about this is that if you hover, it actually says temperature, 6500 K. I don't know if it's supposed to be 600 Kelvin, as in the temperature reading, but if it is, that's just funny to me. And then the last, recolor, like so. Okay, and we also have some different variations if you want to add your own types of color, okay? And the last one is artistic effects, which is my personal favorite. Now in here, they have preset artistic effect options. So if I hover, the first one has nothing. The next one, and they should have named marker. You have this pencil sketch. I think this one is pencil grayscale. And just be a little patient, because sometimes it does take a little while to process this graphic. Okay. And this one. All right, so there's heaps and heaps to choose from. And I usually start here before I adjust the other stuff. Okay, so let's say we did apply this particular, well, pick a different one that's a bit more obvious. Here we go. Try that again. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pick this one right here. All right. Now, let's say I applied heaps of different settings, and I did show you this before, but I'll show you again. Let's say you did have heaps of settings, and you want to go back to the original. We just want to click on Reset Picture, and that gets rid of everything. So in this one, I'm going to be covering SmartArt. Now, SmartArt, I think, became available back in the 2007 edition of PowerPoint. Oh, and Office, actually, it's available in all of the Microsoft Office software packages. So what it is it's graphics, but you can apply text inside them. And there's heaps to choose from. So I'm going to show you how to actually create these. Here's a few more examples. And then another one I created. And anytime it says text means you can put text in there. And this one you can actually put images. So I'll show you how to do that. We start with a blank sheet. We want to go to the Insert menu tab. We're going to go Illustrations. I'm going to click on SmartArt. Now from here, it's going to open up a pane, allowing us to choose which one we want. So there's heaps to choose from. I'm not going to go through every single one. I'm just going to go through some of the main ones and show you the general idea of how it works, because once you get it, the rest of them are pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to pick this very first one just as the demo before we do some of the more complicated ones. Okay, so what happened with mine is I don't have the text pane. This usually comes up, but if you don't have it, I'll show you how to get it back. So first of all, make sure you activate your SmartArt by clicking on it. You want to go to the SmartArt tools, which will pop up. Then you want to go Design Menu tab, Create Graphics section, and click on Text Pane. Usually when you create a text pane, this should already be there. this one here, but if it's not, it's really easy to get it. Just click on this text pane. All right. Now, let's say you've been creating and deleting all the individual blocks until eventually you have, I think I have to highlight and delete clicks. So until you've got nothing left, let's say by accident you press delete or all sorts of stuff. Really easy to add them back in. Here's how you do it. If you go again to that Design menu tab, while your SmartArt is activated, you want to click on Add Shape. And Add Shape will create your first block, like so. Now, if I want to add text to that, let's say I want to go Luna Lovegood, right? And then create another shape. I simply press Enter, and that will create another shape. But actually, you know what? Before I show you the next bit, let me add some more stuff here. Luna Lovegood, border, collie, and each time I press Enter, it creates a new one. So I'm just going to write dog, and so on. Now, I can actually write more text underneath here. And the way I do that is if I go in here and I press Enter, and then I want to demote this, they call it, or indent to the right. I want this dot to be over here. So here's why you do it. Here's how you do it. Design menu tab. Here in the Create graphic, and you want to click on Demote. If I click on Demote, that's going to move the text around. So if I type in here, Border Collie, 15 weeks old. Oops, there's caps lock. Right, and I can go further in as many times as I want using that Demote button. Okay, so let's say I'm in here, but instead of being underneath Luna Lovegood, I want to create a whole new box. What you do is you use the Promote button, and here's how you do it. Again, Design menu tab, Create graphic, and you want to click on Promote over here. And that brings it back and creates a new shape. Okay, so very, very simple in actually constructing it and typing data in. All right, so I'm going to leave it there for this one. So in this one, we teach you about colors, accents, and SmartArt styles. So let me just get this set up. Okay, so to get to colors and accents and all that, I'm going to go to the Design menu tab. I'm going to go into SmartArt styles. The first one we're going to do is this button right here. So you go ahead and click that, and you're going to have a number of different options. You can have very simple, basic kind of graphics. You can have super colorful, where each one is different. You can have one where it's shaded. You can have ones that are different color, and you can pick your own color as well, but we're going to go down here. So you've got different types of colors. Here you go. I usually like to use one solid color or completely different colors, simply because if you do one that's an accent, from a data visualization point of view, it draws attention to a certain box. So for example, when I look at this, I look at the dark one straight away because it's the easiest to see. If you want to draw emphasis to that particular location, fine, use it. But if you don't and you want them all to have the same information value, then I suggest using completely different colors. All right, so let's go pick one of these ones. Right? Because then now there's no emphasis. They're all kind of on even ground, okay? The next thing is I want to show you, so that's colors and accents. I want to show you this styling. Now, this gives you kind of those 3D effects, the reflections. So again, it's just a hovering option like so. You can get 3D, make a different directions, make a blocks. And it's simply just click to activate. And that's all there is to it. It's very, very simple. So in this one, I'm going to show you how to change the layout. Right now, we just have very, very simple squares. What if we wanted kind of the more intricate patterns like the ones I have here? So I'll show you how to change it. If I click and activate this SmartArt, I am going to see this Design menu tab. So from here, I'm going to go to Layouts. So in here, you can either use these to scroll through, but it's a bit hard to see what's available. So I usually click on this to expand it all. Now, these aren't all of them. Okay, these are just some of them. If I click, I can hover. If I hover, I can see all the different variations. So it changes it very quickly. There's heaps to choose from. But I want to choose from a more from the bigger list. So I click on this More Layouts at the bottom. Like so. And from here, I can actually see the categories. So we can see ones that are just a list. Like so. And there's seriously heaps to choose from. And the great thing is, once you've built it and you've got data in there, you don't have to rebuild it. You simply just change the layout. Okay, let's go look at process. This one you use a lot if you do a lot of managing or project design, project development. Cycle, same thing. You'll be showing how life cycle management. For example, you have gears showing how things connect. You have hierarchy. All right, so I'm going to pick one where we have to adjust shapes and styles. I want to pick, maybe, let's pick this one. Okay, so I've picked this one. Oh, that's too similar to the one we just had. Maybe a hierarchy one. So if I choose this one right here, this one you use a lot of. Okay, so from here, you can immediately see that we change a layer. One thing I don't like is the formatting, right? Text is very big. So the way to change it is as if you're just changing a text box. Now, if I change, if I select just this square, then it will only apply to that square. Okay, so you're going to make sure if you select it, you're going to select everything, right? And that's by clicking this border. So if I go and switch to pink, it would apply to everything, okay? So that's all there is to it. So in this one, I'm going to show you how to reset the graphics and then convert it to text if required. All right, so resetting graphics is very similar to the graphic resetting we've done for pictures, for text boxes. So we first want to go to, first we want to activate the SmartArt, of course. We're going to go to the Design menu tab. We're going to go to Reset. And we're going to go Reset Graphic, and that just puts it back to the original style. Okay, so that's just if you have been playing around with it too much. Now, in some cases, you'll finish building your SmartArt and realize, this is kind of really complicated. I can accomplish the same thing and give a better explanation by just using dot points like this, right? So to convert it and to get this image into just the dot points, we go to the Design menu tab, Reset, and then click on Convert. So we'll go ahead and click that, and we want to convert to text. And that's what we get there. So if you can just copy this over to a text box that you have and use it from there. Okay? Now you can go the other way by inserting the SmartArt again. So if I go into Insert and I go to SmartArt, so let's say you have dot points you want to convert to SmartArt. We go in here, we add a smart that we want. Okay, I'm sure I move this down a little bit. And I copy the text that I have, which is in dot point. I can right click and copy. I go to my SmartArt, highlight what I got here, and just paste by right clicking and pasting. Okay, and anything else I don't need, I can just get rid of. Like so. And that's what we had to begin with. Okay, so you can go both going into SmartArt and the reverse. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you at the next video.